10, 9, ignition sequence start, 6.
Hello, and welcome to Rocket Fuel, your daily update of everything that's happening in the Rocket Pool community. My name is Wack. Today is October 19th, and we're going to get started here with this news from the GMC. You have to get used to news from the GMC because I'm on the GMC. So yesterday, the nomination process for the next slate of GMC members finished, and we had 12 people who were nominated in total. That includes Dondo, Joe, RPL Maxi, me, Dr. Doofus, Feeling Good, Feeling Great, Destroyer, Looking for Owls, Find Your Moon, Epineph, Ken, and Rocknet. So Schifrin here said that nominees please provide info requested in RPIP 10 in this thread. Please structure as alignment statement, conflict statement, identity statement, contribution statement, additional information, preferred subcommittees. Please format examples. Good format examples can be found from the first round, and then there's a link to last year's thread, and then it says you can see members' contributions here. So that's the people who've worked on the GMC and what they have brought to the GMC. So I was the first person to reply here. I said before I start my alignment statement, I would like to say that I had the most incredible time as a GMC member, and I cherished working with the best people in the Rocket Pool community. If chosen again, I will do my utmost to bring my best self to the GMC. Thank you, Schifrin, for nominating me. I live and breathe Rocket Pool. Most of you know me as the face of Rocket Fuel, a daily news show about everything happening in the Rocket Pool community. Through that, I have gained the trust and respect of the community, and I worked tirelessly to help Rocket Pool be the most amazing protocol aligned with Ethereum. Then the conflict of statements, I talked about getting Diva tokens airdropped to me and how I'm a voting delegate on Diva as well. And I said that, I will always continue to prioritize Rocket Pool and put that first. And then I said that Rocket Fuel, of course, is significantly funded by the GMC, but I have never let my grant impact my work. Then with the identity statement, I said I met more than 100 people from the Rocket Pool community in person, and a lot of those people know my name. Some of them have my phone number, and some even know my home address. And I said, please don't wrench me. And there's a link to my socials, including Discord, Reddit, Twitter, and my public wallet. Of course, I have other wallets, but that is my main public wallet. And then contribution statement, I said I'm extremely proud of the way that I contributed to the GMC in the last year. My member contribution record, and there's a link, speaks for itself. By almost every metric, I've been the most present and engaged member of the GMC. On top of the GMC work, my work with Rocket Fuel means that this protocol is something I contribute to every single day. It's through that work that I have the honor of being one of the biggest voting delegates in the community. I take voting in pDAO matters extremely seriously, and I've not missed a single vote. And then I say behind and in front of the scenes, I built relationships with dozens of people in different protocols with the intention of spreading integrations for Rocket Pool tokens, mostly RETH, but some for RPL also. And then I said preferred subcommittee is marketing. I'm currently in the marketing subcommittee, and I feel this is where my work on the GMC will be most impactful. Then we've also already had statements from Epineph and RPL Maxi, and also Donda Chaka, which you can go ahead and read from the links that I provided. But I just wanted to kind of read out my statement, just so you all that who will be voting are happy to vote for me. So yeah, thank you so much. Okay, moving on, here we have a couple of tweets from Mark Zeller. Mark Zeller, for those of you who don't know, is the initiative founder of Aave Chan, which is a service adjacent to Aave, which kind of manages and works with governance and does a lot of work around governance for Aave. So here Mark says, stake and diversity is important. We propose for the current batch of Aave DAO Treasury LST acquisition to proceed with 100% RETH and 0% STETH allocation. So those are the two liquid staking tokens that Aave have in their treasury. They have RETH and they have STETH. Previously, they had our STETH, which is Lido's ETH, and then they moved some of their treasury over to RETH. And here now they are talking about any future, in this batch, the future LST acquisitions to go towards RETH only, which is absolutely wonderful. I'm really, really happy with this. So in the image that Mark shared here, it says, this publication proposes acquiring RETH with ETH held in the DAO's Ethereum treasury And then he says, it goes on to say, this publication proposes converting a portion of the WETH, AWETH, and WETH. I'm not sure what these tokens are, held in the treasury to RETH. A balance of 100 AETH WETH will remain in the treasury to facilitate ongoing DAO expenses, such as the quarterly gas rebate and other future expenses that arise. So people here were kind of saying throw some into the Diva staking pool in the next round, and then Mark says for the next round both ETH-X and Diva ETH are considered, but they were excluded from this one due to lack of maturity. And then the key question here was Ericsson.eth, who says how much is in the treasury right now, and Mark says this batch will be around 500 ETH. So this is really wonderful to see. There's a whole lot of positive feedback about this, and even with let me just see if I can find the quote tweets. Like the interface on Twitter now is just garbage. Okay, that's not what I'm trying to do. What am I trying to do? I can't see that. I don't know how to see that anymore. I'm such a boomer. But yeah, so yeah, this is wonderful from Aave, and they're doing some really cool stuff again with Rocket Pool tokens, which I'm really happy with. So it's not just RETH that they want to integrate more closely with, but also there is a forum post here in the governance about risk stewards saying to increase the borrow caps on tokens, and in this one they have two tokens, a proposal to increase, and then Ethereum on RPL's borrow cap, and on Metis their borrow cap also. So it says the motivation is the recommendations below were made utilizing chaos supply and borrow cap methodologies after analyzing user positions for each asset. So they really dug into the data, and they got some interesting information out here. So this is the borrow cap for RPL on Ethereum version 3 is currently at 100% utilization. When examining borrow activity, we have observed that borrowers primarily borrow RPL tokens to engage in staking within the Rocket Pool ecosystem. It's essential to note that the liquidity levels on DEXs are currently relatively limited. As a result, we recommend a 50% increase in the borrow cap, elevating from 160,000 RPL tokens to 240,000 RPL tokens. And then there's some more information about Metis, which is another token that they want to increase the cap for. And here then we had the next steps is they wanted feedback from Gauntlet, and then they already got that feedback from Gauntlet saying we support the recommended cap increases, and then they gave some more suggestions as well. And then Chaos Labs here prepared the payload. So the next step for this, now that I'm an expert in Aave governance, is this will go to a vote, and then that I think. No, actually, I'm not an expert in Aave governance. It's been a while since I've interacted with it, a few months now. But I think they must have done a temp check already, or maybe the temp check comes next and then it goes to vote. But anyway, they're doing some really cool stuff. So congratulations on Aave for that really good stuff they're doing. So just having a quick look at Aave's RPL utility, you can see that. Wait, this is not what I want. Aave app, where's the app? Okay, this is, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, they're basically maxed out. So Aave is they're going to increase that limit. So good job. Thanks, Mark, for that. So with that limit increase, then there's going to be another 80,000 RPL tokens available. Lucas here has been doing a lot of digging into the people who are borrowing RPL and kind of trying to figure out what they're trying to do with it. So he says that one of the things that he's been following is that, the Aave pool is maxed out. So he's been following this Binance borrowing place where people can borrow again, like from the Binance protocol, people who are depositing and letting people borrow there. So right now, the interest rate on the Binance borrowing here overnight, like earlier on today, Lucas shared that it was 108%. And then as the day went on, they will reach 126%. And then it like really jumped up basically. So this is the spot margin borrowing. So those rates basically show that the utilization of the lending pool is fully used, and it's gone above their their slopes that they use internally. I don't know what they use, but now it's kind of going exponential in terms of the borrowing rate. Lucas here has the idea that people are borrowing on Binance to short RPL token, and there's a whole lot of RPL that's been shorted according to Lucas here. The difference with Aave is that the Binance borrowing, there's an idea that it might be more to do with shorting than people borrowing on Binance and then trying to stake with that, which is what Aave is saying that they're seeing from their protocol. And then here Lucas then had another update saying that you can no longer borrow Binance loans in size. It lets you borrow only 169 RPL from his account. And then he says you can no longer borrow from Aave, which is changing in a few days. He says the only option left is Binance spot margin with 127% rate now. And Binance now even issues a warning on RPL borrowing, saying that RPL is exhibiting notably higher interest rate volatility and risks compared to other tokens, and that you can click to learn more. So there's a lot going on there that people are really paying close attention to, and there's a whole lot of ideas about short squeeze potentially coming, and what that might mean basically is that all these people who are borrowed from Aave would have to buy back and repay their loans. So not from Aave, from Binance, they'd have to buy back and repay the loans, which could then force more people to buy back and cause like a liquidation cycle to the upside. So yeah, anyway, if here you have a look at the Binance's, let me just refresh the page so we get the latest information. If you have a look at Binance's borrow data, let me see, and you look for the RPL token, you can see that the borrow rate right here is 126.7%, and as a regular user your borrow limit max is 700 RPL, and your hourly interest is 0.137%. So that's just ridiculous. As the maximum VIP level on Binance Spot right now, the most you can borrow is 6,300 RPL, and for that your interest is 101%, an hourly interest of 0.011%. So this is just showing you that there's a lot of fuckery going on, pardon my language, and it seems like something's gotta give here. So if we have a look back on Discord, we can see that Halululo here has a screenshot of the borrowing rate, and over the last basically month there's been a couple of spikes where it's gone up to 400%, and then it's kind of come down with people like closing their shorts or their positions, I guess, and then the utilization going lower, and then it seems like it's going on another uptrend now, where in the last couple of days it's doubled in more than doubled actually in interest payment for borrowing RPL from Binance. So that is something definitely to pay a lot of attention to. It really does look like there's something going on there, and I don't know what impact that will or won't have on the RPL price. Of course, it just looks like there are people who are borrowing the RPL token in order to sell it as a way of shorting it. So the idea, the way it works is you borrow the token from a protocol, you put collateral or something like that forward, and then you sell the token on the market with the idea that the token price will go down. And then you have an idea that you're going to buy back a lower rate, repay your loan, get your collateral back, and keep the difference basically. So, for example, if you deposit, if you took a loan of 100 RPL at $20 hypothetically, and then you sold that, then you bought back 100 RPL at $10, you've saved yourself $1,000 there. No, not $1,000. Yeah, $1,000. Sorry, yeah, $1,000 there, and then you get to keep that difference basically. So that's how the shorting works. However, if the price moves up quickly, then the protocols that lend you the tokens force you to repay your loan by selling your collateral that you put down. So there's a lot of dynamics at play here, and depending on the risk level of people who are depositing into these protocols or these services, it might be that the ratio has to move a lot, like maybe double before people start getting liquidated. However, there's liquidation cascades that you see, where as one person gets liquidated, then that buy then liquidates the next person, and then that buy liquidates the next person, and that just kind of causes either like a short liquidation will cause the price to go up, and a long liquidation will cause the price to go down like really quickly. So those are some of the things that might happen in the foreseeable future potentially. I don't know how it's going to work out, but it's definitely something that's interesting and that we should be paying attention to maybe. Okay, going back to the forum here, we have a treasury report out from Vaca, and this was dated August up to the period August 26th. So he says, "Hello Rocket Pool, if you need an intro on how the pDAO treasury works, there's a post you can check." He says, "In this rewards period, the pDAO budget increased from 22% to 23% of inflation. This period saw the payment of 4,585 RPL and 2,717 RPL for the IMC and GMC respectively." And it says the pDAO reserve fund received 9,680 RPL this period. Our pDAO reserve fund balance is now 71,345 RPL, and then 5,285 RPL of which would be sent to the IMC and GMC if we fix RPIP 10. And then there's a link to that post. It says you can keep up with the DAO treasury with the following spreadsheets, and that information is made public as well. So the IMC, I think, spends most of their income. The GMC has about 50,000 RPL tokens in reserves to pay grants basically as they're coming in, and then the pDAO as a whole has about 70,000 RPL as like a rainy day fund. And then I think I'm not sure exactly what the process would be for the pDAO to access that reserve fund, but I'm sure there'd have to be like posts in the forum and like snapshot votes and stuff that would make that accessible. But yeah, that's really cool, Vaca. Thank you so much for that update. Okay, next we have this really great idea that came from Ramana, and he was in a conversation with RPL Maxi in trading about borrowing against your Rocket Pool node. So Ramana kind of like went back and forth with the idea a little bit, and then kind of this morning presented this procedure of what it would look like if there was a kind of a service that let you do this. So he says, here's how to borrow against your node. So he says escrow, like that's a service that kind of acts as an intermediary, posts a large bond for offering their escrow service. You set your RPL withdrawal address to the RocketLend, that's what he's calling the service, RocketLend, to the RocketLend contract. You provide your exit key and maybe your node account key too, to the bonded escrow. The escrow submits hashed salted keys to RocketLend and retains the salt. RocketLend accepts debt tokens, maybe just ETH or RETH from a lender, it can be anyone, with a specified interest rate or schedule and a deadline, etc. You take the debt tokens out of RocketLend and thereby accept the loan terms. You pay your interest into RocketLend. If the lender reckons your validator isn't worth enough anymore, like if your TVL is too bad, then they tell you to exit and RocketLend will give them the funds. If you don't comply, they ask the escrow service instead for the keys so they can exit themselves. If the escrow doesn't comply, they seek the bond from them instead. If the escrow reveals the keys prematurely, someone can challenge them to get their bond. If you pay your interest back on your loan, RocketLend just honors your eventual withdrawal back to your original withdrawal address. So this is a really, really cool idea. This is, we need some kind of oracle for the LTV calculation, like how to know how much the mini pool is worth. Maybe the hash salt thing isn't adding anything. Basically, the escrow has the key and is protected by bond. So this idea kind of went back and forth a little bit in trading and talking about what kind of structure you need to do that. But I think Ramana wants to set up a grant application or bounty application maybe for this. And I can't really say too much about that, but I really like the idea. So good luck, Ramana. Okay, speaking about Ramana, there's another conversation that he was having. He totally put the wrong part in submissions, but that's totally fine. He was talking about would there be an easy way to add overwrite votes to RocketArb. So for those of you who don't know, Ramana is the person who made the RocketArb software that adds onto your node to help you arb the deposit pool. He is thinking of making an addition to that, which makes it easy for you to overwrite your vote on Snapshot. instead of importing your node wallet key to a hardware wallet and then using that to vote on Snapshot to override the person you delegated your vote to, by putting it into the smart node stack, it means that you don't have to take your keys off the smart node stack, and then you can override your vote. So he says that he would like to do that today. He's going to be poking around the Snapshot API, and he's asking if people can kind of like spread the word about this. So I don't know when he's going to finish it, but he is definitely going to be working on that today, I presume. So that's pretty cool, Ramana. Good luck with that. And I think having more tools available to node operators is definitely a really, really great thing. Okay, next we have this update from Preston Van Loon, who works in the Prysm protocol, Prysm client. He's a core dev at the Ethereum Foundation as well. And he says that they found a bug today in version 4.1.0 that affects users running Prysm Beacon node with a REST-based validator client while using the Builder API. So he says if you're operating a setup such as Prysm BN plus Lighthouse VC and MEV boost, then do not upgrade to version 4.1.0 at this time, or you may miss a block proposal. It says we're working on a fix and considering a hotfix or accelerating version 4.1.1 release. So if you're on 4.0.8, then you don't need to upgrade this time, and then you can follow the issues, and there's a link to GitHub where you can find out what's going on. So this is a very niche announcement. It's only going to impact a very, very, very small number of node operators, but I thought I'd cover it just in case this applies to you. Okay, and finally, we are going to finish with this post from DeFi Nicola. Nicola works for DeFi Saver, which is a front end that builds on top of borrowing, lending, and DeFi protocols. That kind of makes it a lot easier for you to interact with their services. So they work with Maker and Aave and all sorts of other protocols as well. So this post here was a bit of a warning that came out about Liquidity and Grai, and it has to do with redemptions of their token. So what happens is, you make a vessel on Gravita. I'm not sure what the terminology is on Liquidity, and then you deposit your RETH, and in return you mint Grai, which is their dollar stable coin, and then you set a collateral ratio or loan to value, basically percentage that you want. And then what happens is, if the price goes below that amount, then your loan can get liquidated. So your RETH basically gets sold to repay back your debt, and you are left with the Grai. If you have a risky loan, basically, if you take out too much of a loan and the price moves down against you. So what Nicola here is saying is that there's a system called redemption that works in Liquidity and in Gravita, because it's a fork of Liquidity. And what is happening is people with, I guess they're called troves, in Liquidity. Yeah. So vessels, maybe not vessels yet, but troves on Liquidity are starting to get liquidated through this redemption system, where even though the person who has the trove, and this would work on Gravita as well with vessels, the people who have those vessels, they might think that their loan is still healthy. However, bots basically can force liquidation when it's profitable for them. Now, when does it get profitable for them? Well, what's happening at MakerDAO is that they have a DSR, which is a stable coin that is yielding 5% in terms of treasury, US treasury bonds. No, is it market making? Something like that. They're getting, basically, you get their DAI stable coin, or a version of SDAI, I think it's called, and that has a built-in mechanism of yielding you 5%, which is what you would get, from market making in the US right now. So people are then, what's happening is people are selling their Liquidity token and buying the MakerDAO stablecoin instead, because they're getting a 5% yield right on their token. So what's happened because of this is that Liquidity price was normally trading at a premium against the US dollar. So it was around $1.01 basically, and now it's gone down to 99.5 cents. So that might not seem like a lot, but basically that difference is now making it profitable for bots to force redemptions on some of those more riskier vessels and troves, and they are forcing the payback of the loan by doing that liquidation, because they get a percentage of the difference. So what happens is they buy the token at the cheaper price and then sell it at the more expensive price. So that's kind of what's happening. I'm sorry if I've done a bad job of explaining that. I've tried my best, but read this tweet thread from Nicola, and he does a much better job of explaining what's happening. And basically, there's some of the troves or vessels even above 180% collateralization ratio are starting to get liquidated, or that's happened where they've gotten liquidated. So please read this thread if you are all worried. And I talked to someone in the Gravita protocol, and they said that they seem to think that the Grai token will kind of hover around 99.2 cents, which is 0.992. And there might be some redemption play that's going on. So please be aware of your position, and keep that in mind that, it's there's a chance that bad stuff can happen, but what you think is bad stuff, but the system working as is expected. So the reason why the system allows this is to maintain the peg. So this is one of the peg maintaining mechanisms to make sure that the stable coin always stays as close to $1 as possible. And by doing these redemptions, you force people to buy the token in order to try to arb that price. So that's kind of what's going on there. So yeah, that's a explanation of that. So I'm going to end today's episode on that note. So thank you all for watching, listening, and being part of the Rocket Fuel community, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.